Welcome to WO50 Podcast. Women over 50 embody wisdom and wellness.
Hello. My name is Corrine, and I'm here with Eddi, my BFF of many years. And today our topic was the zen of zipping through your to-do list, making the unmanageable manageable. I'm all for that.
Yeah, it was so fun. Lots of little, you never know what road we're going to go down and what pothole we're going to fall into when we talk about things like this. But we did. We talked about taxes and confronting peeps when it's uncomfortable.
Making the unmanageable manageable, like our different techniques and tools for not procrastinating, like just a lot of the things that we've worked out over the years of being on the planet for 60 years on the planet, because I personally don't ever want to dread anything in my life. So I have figured out some tools and techniques so that when I have something that I don't want to do, to figure out either a reward system or a chunking system or whatever, and we go into detail about that.
Yeah, we don't want to dread or be too overwhelmed.
Yeah. So we hope you enjoy our conversation. Hello from Los Angeles.
Hello from Newfoundland.
I bet my weather's better than yours.
Slightly. Yes, it is.
Snowshoeing yet?
No snow yet. So I think there'll be snow soon. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It awesome.
Is winter months, and I have my cross country and downhill skis ready to go, my ice skates. So yeah, they have a little skating rink that they do they kind of pour water and groom it, and it becomes a little ice skating rink in the park, in a little park called Bannerman here.
Oh, I love Bannerman Park. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. And it's a little loop you go around, and I take the grandkids there and we have fun. Yeah, it's lovely.
Oh.
How's LA?
LA is lovely. The food is amazing. The driving is a little nutty.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be a very defensive driver here.
Yes, yeah. You're a good driver.
Yeah. So
luckily you had lots of driving in Italy, so
practice in Italy, just like being in India. Yeah. But yeah, no, it feels good to be here, and then up to Canada tomorrow to Vancouver, which is always fun.
Yeah, out with family, and yeah, that's fun. And it is a tangly time of year trying to get everything in and visit, and there's a little more on the lists, isn't there? Even some things that maybe you don't want to do.
Well, you going into our topic, the zen of zipping through your to-do list. I like that. The zen of zipping through your to-do list. Zipping is kind of the opposite of zen, but making the unmanageable manageable. I think I'm really good at it because I am self-employed.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do get to sort of, what I've learned to do is kind of feel into when I'm in the mood to do something. And so I feel like what happens with people when they procrastinate is because they are trying to force themselves to do something they don't want to do. And it's usually not an opportune time. Mm-hmm. So I'm constantly negotiating with myself of so if it's something I really don't like, a task I really don't want to do, like we had this company, this credit card, like we got that hotel that we had to leave out of because we had a mouse in our room, and it's 2 months later and they haven't refunded my card yet. So, all that sitting down and doing the dispute forms and all that, which is not a lot of fun. Yeah. I did it on a day where I had sort of nothing else to do. So that was the only sort of not fun thing that I had to do that day. And I had like 3 hours, even though I only needed a half hour, but and so that's kind of how one of my strategies for making the unmanageable manageable is waiting until I'm in the mood to do something. And you know what? Yeah. And not putting pressure on myself.
Yes, but sometimes there's something we have to get done, and that's taxes, because that's one of the things on the top of my list that is my least favorite thing to do. And now I have an accountant, and I have an accounting program on my computer which keeps everything really good, and I enter everything, but that tying it all up and pulling it together and looking at your numbers of your ins and outs, and and you kind of know in your head, well, I do anyway, kind of what the balance is, but it's just getting that done. And I do. I start every year going, and this is what we do at the end of a year. We go, okay, the beautiful thing I look forward to is that new file folders and everything starts, fresh. But then I pull everything out, and honest to goodness, for 2 months, I'm looking at everything on the floor, needing to be put in a place, needing, everything added up and making sure everything matches. And I've always not enjoyed doing that. I don't know if it's because you see so much of your money that's gone, or and it's good that money has come in, so I really don't mind paying taxes because that means you're making money. It's a good thing. So, I look at things differently. Years ago, I used to hate it. I was like, "Oh my god, paying taxes. I'm paying so much taxes." And then you realize, "Oh, okay, there's a reason for that. You can, have better credit score and might be able to buy a house," which I did. It's got to show there that you're doing all right. But the taxes, I put it off to a point where there's the deadline. So what I do is I just take little bites of it. I might do, personal one week and then do the business piece next week, and then just try and not do it all in one day. Yeah.
So your strategy is chunking.
Yes, I do. I do little piles and then I tally it. And there's such a relief when I do the summary at the end, and such a relief when I hand it to my accountant. That's what I look forward to, is that envelope being handed over. It's like
Mhm,
like the torch. But
mhm.
every year we got to do that. We got to do our taxes.
Yeah, and so I don't wanna dread it every year, like,
Hmm.
I just do not wanna live my life dreading anything.
Hmm.
So, I always have these different strategies of how I'm gonna do it. So, yes, I have to do my taxes too, and yes, I don't think anybody loves doing taxes. For me, it's just not so much anything about the money, or it's just like a not enjoyable thing just because I love so many other things,
Yeah.
writing newsletters, even though it's something I have to wait till I'm in the mood for. So I just,
Mm.
again, I wait until I feel I know that I have to do it, and
Yeah.
I trust that I have to do it, and I wait. My thing too is I wait until, like, there's got to be a reward system for me. So it's either a movie that I'll watch after I'm done it. Sometimes my chunking starts too. So one day I'll put out, because I got to do the taxes for my foundation for my orphanage too, and kind of all sort of at the same time. So I'll
Yeah.
do kind of like you do, like little pieces. I'll do so it won't seem so much all at once. So
Hmm.
I'll say, okay, I'm going to watch this movie after, but I'm going to work for half an hour on this and get it good. And then the next day or the next time I decide to work on it, I'm like, oh, I've already got this started and done that. And I'll do a little bit more. So it almost becomes exciting then, because
Yes.
once I know I've got a little bit done on it, then I can build on it. And that's kind of my secret to success to anything. I've shared it with a lot of people. I've shared it with actors for learning their lines. I've shared it with musicians for practicing their music. I've shared it with people for taxes. And that is, like, I've got one young woman right now who has an accounting exam to, like, she's already went through college and she's got to write these really hard accounting exams. And I said, okay, you've got 30 days between now and the exam. You don't want to let one day go by where you don't do at least 20 or 30 minutes of studying.
Hmm.
That way, you're not feeling guilty, spend time feeling guilty and worrying it's not building up. And you're getting a little bit done every day. So after a week, you're feeling already better, like you can breathe better. And I do that with kind of everything. That's been my strategy that I've shared with people, because I've done that with my guitar playing. I've done that with my retreats, with my banking. It's like I
Hmm.
just do a little bits and pieces when
Hmm.
I feel to, and then it doesn't seem like such a big thing, and it doesn't weigh on my mind. My thing is I don't want it in my brain space.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that. And that's why, people that really love accounting, and they have spreadsheets and they have, everything laid out really well, and they go back in and look at it. And, I don't let a week go by where my business stuff isn't entered, because if I start to let it pile up, then I have a month of entries to do. So, I really do stay on top of it. Like every week I enter all my business stuff, and then every month, I'll reconcile accounts. And it took some time to get into that routine of
Yeah.
doing that, just
Yeah.
getting really organized with it. Yeah.
You had to do the opposite first and feel uncomfortable for long enough until you came up with that system that finally worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody's got a different way of doing it. Some people like to see it all on a spreadsheet on the computer. Some people like to print it off and have a look, or it's like to-do lists, they look and they print off a new one each week. It's going to keep changing, right? But it's like the little bites out of the elephant, that's how you eat an elephant. One bite at a time. You might
So
correct me
true.
yet, but yeah.
That's great. Yeah, all the things. And why do we procrastinate? I know that what happened for me was I procrastinated when I was young. So I'm talking teenager, early 20s. I kind of procrastinated everything. I just did what I wanted to do, and everything else I put on, whether it was bills or or anything that I had to do, is I'll just not do that, and I would ignore it. Right? You and I are very
Yeah.
different that way, because you were
Yeah.
very disciplined, and then what happened was, when I started meditating, procrastination went out the window. And that's when
Mm,
that technique came to me, the chunking of doing a little bit every single day.
yeah.
And so, looking after yourself and self-care and awareness, and specifically meditation,
Hmm.
um, does it's a deep rest for your brain, and it
Hmm.
really does help you with procrastination and doing things, making them manageable,
Yeah,
making
and it also,
unmanageable
well,
manageable.
another task too is like cleaning, right? Some people hate to clean. And
Yeah,
now
or do
after the
laundry.
holidays, right? The new year, oh, we're going to renovate this or paint this or clean out this. Again, it's the little bites. I read something years ago that giving your house a clean sweep all in one day is really not a good thing to do. Like every single room, deep clean.
Exhausting.
Well, it is exhausting, but it's also you're upsetting a lot of the microbes also in your environment. So
Oh, says Dr.
yeah,
Eddi.
yeah. So you do, well, if you got one bathroom or three bathrooms, you don't have to do all the bathrooms one day. You could do one level, or if you got, depending on the size of your house, you can vacuum one day and mop the next, or we don't have to take 3 or 4 hours to clean if cleaning isn't what you love to do,
Yeah.
right? So everybody's different. Organizing your cupboards or cleaning out your spice racks, like getting ready for winter or summer, wherever we are on the planet, like gutting the garage. There's tasks that people like. Even now I think about with the Christmas ornaments, some of them are still wrapped in really gnarly newspaper, because when you take things off the tree and you're like, oh, that paper will do, because every year I'm going, I'll put nice fresh paper on them this year. Well, this year I just bought nice fresh paper and put it in the box. So now the old stuff is gone, right? So now
Nice.
yeah, so it's done. So they're ready again, instead of going, okay, where's that paper? Oh, I'll just use that old icky stuff, right? So, yeah, it's little
Nice.
things. I mean, it's just simple things, but same with
As simple
exercising
as,
too, right?
what's
People
that?
procrastinate. Same with exercising. People make resolutions for the new year, and then they look at it and it's daunting to them to start an exercise program. So again, it's start on a gentle walk
Yeah,
each
you just
day.
start.
Just start.
When do you start? You start where you are.
Yep. Start today.
Yeah. A
You
gentle
know,
walk. I like that.
just a gentle walk, just to, you don't have to sign up to the gym like everyone else is doing. They're signing up. Oh, I'm going to hire a trainer. Well, how many times have we done that in our lives? Right. So at this age, we go, I'm going to be gentle. I'm going to want to get into a routine of doing something that is, I look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
Walking in nature, or maybe there's a particular trail I like to walk along, and there's birds or squirrels that are there, or,
Mm-hmm.
moose. Maybe there's a moose. I don't know. Yeah. So just little bites, eh?
Yeah, I like it. I like it. It's very
Mm-hmm.
good.
Yeah.
Um, what else?
Well, oh, I know another one. Organizing photos. people have boxes and boxes of stuff, or their kids' stuff, or they're cleaning out and they're overwhelmed. Maybe they've hoarded, maybe they've collected things. And when, oh, my kids will love that, I'll save that for them. And then the kids grow up, get their own place, and the kids go, I don't want that. I'm not junking up my place. And I don't want it. So then you have to downsize what's important. Well, make a date with one of your kids and go, what do you want out of this? You know, do I put it in a
Having
safety
another
deposit?
person, what's that?
Yeah. So do I put it in a safety deposit box? Like, is it worth anything? Yeah.
Having another person involved is another technique for procrastination or for doing stuff you don't want to do. I
Yes.
remember, I'm really good. I love cleaning out my closet. Like I'm actually constantly cleaning out my closet. I think you're the same way. And I've always got a bag of Goodwill. And I take stuff out, like I do more seasonally, but all throughout, I'm like, I've worn that for a long time. And I just have it going. And then I probably have a garbage bag full, a small one every month or two anyway, to go to Goodwill. And so I've had a couple of friends that have asked me to come over and help them with that. And the key is, well, you and I came up with the term when we buy stuff, clothing or shoes or anything like that, we have to not love it, not love it, but we have to love it.
And if we buy it, we have to get rid of something. So in, out, in, out. So it's,
Mhm.
yeah. And we have
Well,
to
me, I'm
love, love, love.
constantly getting rid of stuff. So,
We
but
are.
yeah,
Yeah, but it's also, it's not just wastefully getting rid of stuff. It's like, I have family members, I have cousins, there's lots of
me,
goodwill. Yeah, we do send stuff back and forth. Oh, she
yeah,
loves this. I'll keep that for her. Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah, and bringing it to, like, there's consignment stores people, can go to and sell some of the really good stuff, the stuff you just don't want to throw out because you have such guilt around how much money you spent
You
for
spent on it
it.
exactly.
So you go,
Exactly.
maybe I can resell that. And I
Hmm.
always think it's upscaling. Like anytime you get rid of something and someone else can use it. Like if something's sitting there too long, let someone else use it. You
Exactly.
know, boots or coats or hats, mitts, dress suits. If you no longer work in an office and you got 20 pinstripe suits in your closet, like really, like yeah, yeah. And it's fun cleaning out. And you feel lighter, you feel
Well, that's
yeah,
relative. There's a lot of people that don't find that fun. So, but I'm happy that you find it fun.
I do. I do. I've always been like that though. And I
Yeah.
think, when I was a child, we had a couple of house fires. So I lost everything in the house fires as a young person. And I think that's one of the reasons when, I don't hoard things. I don't attach to things. I think
Yeah.
that might be, as I'm thinking with you here now. Yeah. Where some people, yeah, can let stuff go and some people hold on to stuff because they've not had anything or I don't know. We're all
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so cleaning out closets, I like that. Having somebody else involved is very helpful. There's closet, I'm actually going to have a closet person, a styling person come over. My friend Kathy has a styling person. She works at Starbucks, but she's really good at styling. And she had to cancel because she was sick, but in the new year, she's going to come and she'll like organize the closet
Mhm.
or she'll shop in your closet, which is what I want her to do is shop in my closet, put together
Yeah.
outfits. She takes photos and stuff like that. So you can do that. You
Nice.
can always find somebody, and she's not expensive,
Oh yeah.
and so I'm very excited about that. So you can have a friend help or a professional help.
Mm-hmm.
And also too, like I mean, I don't love cleaning and organizing, but I love, as you I think mentioned a few minutes ago, I love how I feel after.
Yeah.
It's such a sense of accomplishment and lightness. And then every day when you go into that area, like I remember during COVID, I organized my kitchen I organized my spice cupboard I've been wanting to do for so long. I bought these little shelves that were like where you could see all the spices and stuff like that. So I
Yeah.
took everything out and cleaned it. And now I still enjoy it now 3 years
Yeah.
later, and I still appreciate it 3 years later. So that's sometimes what another motivating factor you can think about. If you really don't like organizing or cleaning, you can focus on the feeling of what you're going to feel after it gets done, not just the one time. So when you clean, it's one time only that you have to clean or organize, but then you get to enjoy it for months and months afterwards until
That's
it gets
right.
messy
I
again.
know it's like all the oatmeal and the cereal boxes and the spices and the flours, and you just go out and get these glass jars like you did, and then you label them and line them up. I mean, that's a lot of work. So even if you just did one cupboard at a time,
Yeah.
because doing them all it is. It's like,
Daunting.
yeah, way, way over the top. Yeah. So, and some people, even with cleaning or helping, if they're doing that, then sometimes some people get someone to come in and clean once a week or once a month or once a season for the deep clean.
Mhm,
Sometimes, you can treat yourself to that too,
mhm,
depending on our budget
mhm,
and how necessary it is.
mhm. Yeah, treat yourself. I always say it's worth my time. It's worth my money to have somebody clean, deep clean Ivy House once a month
Hmm.
because my time that it would take all day and energy, like it's much worth my time to pay.
Well, yeah. Well, you do a lot with all the computer work and the letters and the people that come in and out of Ivy House. Like, it
Mhm,
makes sense that you would have someone come in and give it that deep clean.
mhm.
Because how can you stay on top of that? The same with the garden. If it's
That help.
small, fine. But when you have help and then you get something established and it's growing, well, we got to have help
Mhm,
you know and then
absolutely.
you're great with that because you share the harvest, which
I
is
do. I
awesome.
give away more food than I
I
eat
know.
myself.
Because you have so many cucumbers and
Mhm.
zucchinis and you're so lucky. You're like, oh, we have one for the week, yay.
You're like, when I had like 25 zucchinis that were as big as my thigh, and Eddie's like, "Oh, I got a zucchini, and it's as big as my pinky finger."
And why is half it green and half it yellow? It's like they don't even, my zucchinis, they just like to hang out with each other,
Yeah,
cucumbers
but
and
zucchini's like
zucchini.
hot weather. You get you get you get lots of um greens, which
We get
which we
loads of
don't have a
green.
big season for greens.
Yeah, yeah. Lots of root vegetables too,
Yeah.
turnip, potato, beets, really nice hardy things. And again, that can be another task people find daunting is when they get a lot of that produce and they want to pickle things. And
Oh,
again,
me
it's
too.
picking the day. And
Oh
then
yeah, pick in
it's
the
picking
day.
that day. Yeah, pick
Yep.
that day to do the beets and then
Yep.
another day to do the cukes. Yeah.
I
And
also
people
tried different techniques. One year I canned my tomatoes, which is a lot of work because you have to cook them and then you have to cook the cans and then you have to peel the tomato. I mean, it's so much work. It's a whole thing, which I did enjoy. But the next year I was like, oh, it's a lot. So then I just chopped them and froze them, which was another
yeah.
technique that works. And so, I
Oh,
sometimes I do different techniques like that to help me with the abundance in the garden.
yeah. Yeah. What else? What else do we, yeah, it's smart to delegate duties and hire someone and if we can or have a friend come over and you trade things. I remember when my um, mother-in-law was moving and we went over to help her move and it was really easy for me to organize it for her because she just was downsizing from a big house to just an apartment. And my honey, he's is a bit overwhelming for him because you know his mom has a story about everything. So I'm really good at, okay, tell me a story about this. Now, where's it going? And we did 3 piles. So who's getting it and how much it means to her. And then that big last pile, it was amazing what she was able to keep and how we organized it. But there was so much that she was able to unload and share with her family and give. And she was like, do you need anything? I'm like, nope, I don't need anything. I'm good. I'm good. I got everything I need. Nope, nope, we don't need anything. And to allow them to, especially as you get older, to tell the stories, right?
Mhm.
And have the
Listen to them,
connection
hear
because
them.
it's they have memories with items, right? So, a lot of people over the age of 50 and 60 are dealing with moving their mums or dads into assisted living or retirement centers or sometimes lockdown units, right? And they want to set up the environment so it's beautiful and they got their quilt and their pictures and it's a really gentle and it's a tender time, you know? So, yeah.
That's beautiful. I remember when you did that for Strat's mom. It was pretty awesome. He appreciated it so much because it was so daunting for him, and you were
Well,
just in there every day helping, and she
yeah.
appreciated it too, his mom appreciated it too. It
Oh,
was
she
great. It's great
did.
that you
Oh, yeah,
did.
and it took weeks. It took weeks because and but we did each room at a time. Like it was, you just take each room and that's how we did it. And then eat, have food, and it's, you're upsetting somebody's this is their life. This is and there's boxes and you can't minimize it. You got to go, no, you don't need this stuff anymore. What are you holding on to that for? Now what? You know, so sometimes with a sense of humor, it can be handled, and then there's a little cry, and there's so
Yeah,
it's
some memories, tearful memories and stuff. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, yeah,
And it
yeah, yeah,
might be that way when you're going through your stuff too, not when you're helping an older
yeah.
person, but, I know when I've done deep, like, big moves before, like, when I moved to San Diego from Nashville, I'd been in Nashville a long time, is
Hmm.
years ago, and, I could only take whatever was gonna yeah, I took what went in on the plane a few times to San Diego, but then it was really what could fit in my little geo tracker back then, what could fit in and so I had to get rid of a lot. And so that's when I went through all my photos and I had the same thing. I had a garbage pile, I had a Goodwill pile, I had a give to my friends pile, and I had a sell pile, my antiques that were worth a lot back then.
Yeah.
And it's nice too. I loved the luxury of having 3 months to move. That
Hmm.
was I think where I learned a lot of my techniques of getting a little bit done. So it's not overwhelming. Because I know people that procrastinate, they put stuff on and then whether it's cramming for a test or for moving or for whatever it is, and it's like, that's so unnecessarily stressful.
Yes. And I remember moving back to Newfoundland and decided to have a big yard sale to get to and it was a lot of big stuff to sell or get rid of. And it ended up I might as well have found a family that had just relocated to the US and just handed it to them because it would have saved me so much time and the amount of money. Like really, you've got a $500 sofa and they want to give you $50. I'm like, oh my God, just take it. Just and by the end of the day, the family came by. I'll never forget this. And my daughter had all these toys, and she was 12 when we were moving. She's 30 now. And boy, she wishes she had all those things now. But they were in boxes for her kids, right? But they were in boxes, and families would come. And this family came and they had little kids. And I went, you know what? You know what? You can have everything here. Gave them a set number. I don't even remember now, and they cried and they were so happy. And I was like, oh, thank God they want even the Barbies. Yay. Yeah. Because you reach that point and yeah, it's lots of happiness, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's recycling stuff. Like I love that recycling, repurposing. I've always loved old things, and I love giving away things. I don't sell things very often. I know from many years of what you just said
Yeah.
that it's so much easier. Like I don't consign clothes anymore, even though I've got some pieces. It's just not worth the hassle of the $10 that you get after they
Mm-hmm.
take their commission and they wait 3 months for the check and all that stuff. For me, I'd
Yeah.
just rather recycle it. And,
Yeah.
and I try to find good organizations. Like if it's good clothes, there's like the
Yes.
YWCA helps women who are, to
Mm-hmm.
get back into business and stuff, and they'll give them good clothing and things like that.
Yeah.
So I
Single
remember when
Parents Association, right?
the what?
There's Single Parents Association take all kinds of amazing clothing and suits and
Canada, yeah. Yeah.
new Canadians, right? There's people coming in and into
Yeah.
the country and need help getting set up here, or it's everywhere. So yeah, yeah.
When I helped my mom move from her place, there was this woman I found out through a friend of my mom's, and she just did on her own, but she would come and get, because this is something the government could never do. She would come and just take everything out of your kitchen, open mustard, open ketchup, open spices that you're going to maybe throw out when you leave, half a toothpaste or whatever, all when you're having a big move, and the
Hmm.
stuff from your fridge or your freezer that you're just going to throw out. She took everything. And I remember she took a bedroom set and all this kitchen stuff, and she had just found a young couple, no, a young woman who just divorced her husband, and they were homeless, and they just had got their home, and she drove it right to her. They pulled up in a pickup truck, and this is a service that her and her husband, they were retired, did for people. And the
Yeah.
stuff that she couldn't find the housing to right away, she would put in her house, and she had everything in her basement. And the homeless people and the people, I think you're supposed to call them in LA now, you're not supposed to say homeless anymore, you're supposed to say unhoused. That
Unhoused.
I just learned that
That's great.
yesterday.
Oh, good.
And so people that needed underprivileged people that need things, they would knew that they could come and shop for free every Sunday in her basement, and they could take whatever they wanted.
Wow. That's
I
great.
just was so her name was Christine, and she was in
Mhm.
Kelowna, and it was just so awesome to
Mhm.
know that it was repurposed that way. And those are the kinds of
Mm.
things that you do when you learn about when you're helping somebody else, or you're cleaning out, and you're, just, yeah, doing the deep clean. And I always say it reflects the deep clean of the emotionally too. Like if you're doing the
True.
emotional work, then
Yep.
there's a draw to do the deep clean in the house too. Yeah.
Well, that we know, less clutter, when your workspace or your, home space is cluttered, your mind, your head feels cluttered. And it's like when you get things organized and the layout of the land, what's in your closet, what's in the drawers, where the spice rack is, what's fresh. Head doesn't get so busy, right? It just goes, there's just there's more flow. Let go, flow. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's the
Hmm.
flow right there. The beautiful. I love that. And it's so true. It happens naturally. You can do it consciously if you want, but it kind of happens naturally.
Hmm.
Um, there's just this, I don't know, it's a reflection of what's going on in your life. When you do some deep work, then you automatically will want to clean out a closet or something. It's wild how that
It's true.
reflects each other because you're tired
Yeah.
of looking at something in the corner that you've been looking at for a year or whatever it is.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
mind body balance. It's so
Mhm.
connected. And then once you start feeling good, you start treating yourself good. It's like I say this all the time. The better we feel, the better we eat, the better we act. The worse we feel, the worse we eat, the worse we act.
So true. It's
The ripple.
unfortunate, but it's so true. I
Mm.
always tell people in coaching that the more upset the nervous system is, and the more sort of frazzled people are, the more they want to do things that keep them frazzled, like unhealthy things, like either drink alcohol, or stay out, or have unhealthy relationships, or watch Netflix, until 2 a.m. or whatever it is, and not, get enough sleep. So we kind of do the opposite of what we really need to do. So that's where it takes that support, either a coach or a friend or your sister or your spouse, or whatever it takes to, or watching a YouTube video to help you get
Mhm.
motivated to kind of start that shift. And it'll be, once you just start a shift, it will kind of build on each other.
Mhm.
I was talking to, I want to give Katie a shout out right now. Katie was saying she was listening to one of my clients. She was listening to our sessions, our podcasts. And
Hi, Katie.
I talk about her sometimes. There's so many that listen regularly that
I
I want,
know.
Kim and Sarah and Lori, and all our dear friends. And
Good.
so, she
Thank you,
was,
guys. Thank you for
yeah, thank you so much
listening.
for listening. We're
Yeah.
very encouraged that you enjoy hearing us chit chat. Um, she was saying how for Christmas she was organized like a week ahead of time. She's got all her presents bought and wrapped. And here she is, a single working mom.
Mhm.
And usually that's not the case this time of year. She's just still got a lot on the to-do list. And because she's done all this work on herself, and it's now a reflection in how she's able to get stuff done.
It's beautiful, isn't it? Because it's almost like there's more clarity. People tend to we get full, and often when we start getting the clarity, even with Christmas shopping, you might be if Katie got ahead, she's going, I feel really good. Oh, this over here reminds me of so and so. Huh, I must get that. And you know, it's a I don't know, it's ripple effect, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And well, it is a ripple effect. It's a ripple effect for you in your life and for everybody you're around, because who doesn't want to be around a calm, peaceful, happy person?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't let things turn into like I just got the visual of a snowball when you're making a snowman and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and you're rolling it. And I feel like that's what happens when we procrastinate is it
Mhm.
just keeps getting bigger and bigger in our heads. And I feel like I know this is the case for me that the stuff that I think about that I don't want to do is way worse in my head than in actually when I do it and get it done. Like taxes, I feel like are always at that every year. That's
Yes.
why I've stopped worrying about it because it's never as bad as what I make it out to be in my head.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's true, and it will get done, and so what if you're late? You know, it's okay,
You know, always
but
file an extension.
that's right.
Have
There's
you ever done
always
that in your entire life, Eddie?
yes,
You
I
have?
have.
I'm very
Yeah,
proud of you. I would have thought
wasn't
my
wasn't
answer
my
would have been, I was gonna say, I can't see that you've ever filed an extension. It was when you were married, I'm sure.
well, yes, but it was my accountant at the time
You've
couldn't
made a
get
mistake.
to it, and I had it all there ready, just needed, her follow through on it, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh my," because I love getting things done and on time, and
I know.
and
See, that's the
that's
difference
just
in our
how I've been.
personality. I'm like, if I'm stressed and can't get to it, I have absolutely no problem filing an extension. Zero.
Yeah, I don't mind now. If I need to, I will, but I just like getting it done, then it's done. It's off the plate. It's the same with, it's interesting when we talk about the hard to do tasks, right? The managing the unmanageable. And when it comes to like confronting somebody, if something comes up, I'm the type now, I want to talk now and let's sit and talk about it now. Where some people, no, they no, need more time, need more time. Yeah.
Hmm.
And confronting people that's another challenging one, isn't it? Some people
Hmm.
put it off. They go, no, I'm not talking to that person. I'm done. Yeah,
Yeah,
those are,
we cut people off because we don't want to have the uncomfortable conversation. I think we've
mm,
had about 4 topics already, and I know the one thing I want to talk about in the future is I still really want to do a death one, like one on
yes.
and death and how we feel about death and dying, dealing with people that we love, death and dying, all the different ways about it. Like I'd love to do that.
Well, and you know what we should, I watched Sunday, Good Morning Sunday. I forget what it's called. It's on CBS, but it's Happy News, and Norman Lear was on it this morning, and I happened to watch, and he has had like an amazing life, and
Yes.
he's 99. He just passed. He
Yeah.
was 99, and when he was interviewed, Jane Pauley interviewed him, and he said, "I'm not fearful. It's not the dying, it's the no longer living part. I don't want to have to do. Isn't it interesting?" He goes, "I love it. I have no fear of death. I just want to keep on living."
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And all the stories he had written and the shows and the, things that were really hard topics. I mean, he worked with, um, Archie Bunker, just and
Hmm.
how he talked about just the controversy around it at the time because it was the 60s and 70s, right?
Hmm.
So it just a beautiful life, beautiful story. So
Hmm.
just
He
read about
definitely
his
had a
life.
full
Yeah.
life.
But definitely like, yeah, we'll be interviewing people. We will take on that topic, the grief process, death and dying when we lose loved ones. And I mean, that's, a heavy. Yeah. And
Yeah,
I,
I don't
I,
find it heavy. It's to me, it's like the most natural, like there's nothing more natural than dying.
yes, I know, but it's a heavy for a lot of people. That's what I mean. It's for you and I, we we process it differently. We've done a lot of work, and we've um sat with, I've sat with a lot of death in my life. When I was an oncology nurse,
Hmm.
I mean, and I worked at a terminal cancer clinic out in Vancouver. That was my first nursing job, and I'm early 20s. That was my career, and I remember weekly, twice, two, three times a week, I'm in the morgue with somebody,
Yeah.
and yeah, my view on death now is so different than then. So,
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's a topic that definitely needs um, more discussion and
Yes.
yeah, for
Yes. More
sure.
discussion for sure. And so
Mhm.
many, and I like that what you talked about a few minutes ago too, just how to have uncomfortable conversations with people and when to have them and how to have them and why it's important. That's a good topic too. So if you're
Yeah.
listening and you have a topic you want us to discuss or somebody you want us to interview, or maybe you want to interview with us, maybe you want to talk to us,
Yeah.
reach out to either Eddie or myself, and you know how to find us. There's always links on YouTube and podcasts, or you might know us personally too. So yeah, so Eddie, that was great. Thank you for
Yeah.
taking the time, because I know it's a very busy time of year. So I'm glad we took the time to do this today.
Thank you. To
And
you too. You're in LA and going to the
mhm,
farmer's market, huh?
yep, going
Okay,
farmers market.
lovely.
I'll miss you. I'll miss
Of
you.
course you will. It was so funny because was it last year or the year? No, the year before we were in LA and it was Christmas.
It was
No, it was
November.
November. It was
Yeah,
November. And we went shopping and all of a sudden we look up and it's snowing. I'm like, how can it be snowing? It's like 70 degrees here Fahrenheit. She goes, wow, snowing. It is. And then we look up and there's this snow being blown off the rooftop of
yeah,
the.
the fake
It was
snow.
great. It was great. It
Yeah,
was
it was
very.
so fun. I wanted to be go. I'll take a picture of you tonight, because that at the farmers market in LA, it's so beautiful the way they do
Oh,
their Santa in the
it
sky,
is.
and
It's
yeah, it's really
lovely.
fun.
All the
So
lights and
yeah.
yeah.
Well,
So
we hope you got a lot out of this and you enjoyed our, and I hope you found it zen of zipping through your to-do list and your dealing with your any procrastination and making the unmanageable manageable.
yeah, a little at a time.
Little chunks, little sips, as Eddie says.